Coheed and Cambria announced a new deluxe edition, new entities version of their latest album, Vaxis III, the father of make-believe. Smashing Pumpkins release a brand new song that's an outtake from their most recent record, and Pink Floyd announced a 50th anniversary edition of their classic album, Wish You Were Here. But are we running out of classic rock band reissues? Let's break it all down on this edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rock News Roundup podcast, your destination for the latest in rock music news, reviews, and discussion here on the Nick Chino Music YouTube channel. I'm your host, Nick Chino. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode. We got the mics on, we got the devil horns up, and we're here to talk about the latest and greatest in rock music news. If you are watching this video on YouTube, I'd very much appreciate it if you toss it a thumbs up and a like. I'd very much appreciate that. Make sure to smash the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos, and make sure to share this video online with your friends and your fellow rock fans. You can also check out this podcast as an audio only edition on your favorite podcasting app of choice, whether that be Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. You can check out the Rock News Roundup podcast. If you are on those platforms, I'd very much appreciate a rating and review so we can let more people know about the show and the channel. You can follow me on social media at Nick Chino Music across social media platforms. And if you are watching this video on YouTube, you can check out the latest videos that I posted up there. One of them being my top 10 Smashing Pumpkins tracks that should have been hits. You know, Smashing Pumpkins have had a lot of hits over the years, a lot of great songs that have been hit songs on the radio, but they also have a lot of hidden gems that I think would make great hits on the radio for the Smashing Pumpkins. And you can also check out the latest rock album review for the new album from 21 Pilots. It's called Breach. Both of those videos are up right now on the Nick Chino Music YouTube channel. But let's get to our headliner topics on this edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast. We're going to talk about Smashing Pumpkins releasing a brand new song that's kind of an outtake from their most recent album, Agori Mori May. We're going to talk about Pink Floyd releasing a 50th anniversary edition of their classic album, Wish You Were Here. And really, how far can these classic rock bands go with these endless reissues that we're getting year after year? But we're going to kick things off with our first headliner topic on this edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast, and that is Coheed and Cambria releasing Vaxis III. I can't just say Vaxis. Vaxis III, the father of make-believe, the deluxe edition, also called the New Entities edition. This is going to be a deluxe edition of their new record, their latest record, which came out earlier this year. Already with the deluxe editions, that's all the rage these days, right? With most bands, you put out the album the first time, but then a bunch of months later, you put out the deluxe edition with additional tracks, whether that be live versions or demos or brand new tracks. Personally, I prefer when bands put out a deluxe edition with more new studio music. Green Day did it earlier this year with their Saviors album. I think they gave us like 6 or 7 brand new songs. Blink-182 did it with One More Time Part 2, which featured, again, a bunch of new songs. And it sounds like Coheed and Cambria are going to be giving their fans, who probably already purchased this record, a little bit more value with this New Entities version of Vaxis III, the father of make-believe. So this is going to be available on a bunch of different formats. It's going to be available on CD, of course, as well as a couple of limited edition colored LPs. It's going to be available on Quintillion Blue and Purple Optic Distortion colored LPs. Those sound very appropriate for Coheed and Cambria, but they're going to be limited to 1,500 copies each. Those are up for pre-sale right now on the Coheed and Cambria website, and I imagine with them being limited and being all sorts of cool colors like Quintillion Blue and Purple Optic Distortion, that fans are going to be grabbing those up very, very quickly. But thankfully, again, in addition to just getting a new version of the album, Coheed and Cambria are offering us 4 brand new tracks included on this deluxe edition, including the new song Key Entity Extraction 7, Yuko the Trivial, which I listened to before I did this podcast. And that, you know what, this is actually a really great Coheed and Cambria track. Not that they ever really put out anything bad, because they have a really high quality bar for them when it comes to new Coheed and Cambria music. But this one has a big rock hook to it. It's got a big melody on it, and it's part of a new 4-part track ending to the album, because we know that Coheed and Cambria, everything they do is epic. It's ambitious. This is part of the Amory Wars storyline that I still have no idea what's going on, but at least I enjoy the music. And this is going to be, like I said, a new 4-part ender to the album. And this new song was really, really cool. And I liked it actually a little bit more than some of the songs on the album proper. I did a rock album review on the YouTube channel earlier this year, and I seem to remember really liking it, but maybe not liking it as much as Vaxis II, which I thought was the better record. I thought Vaxis I was even better than Vaxis III. Not to say that it's not a good record. It's just when you have as much music as Coheed and Cambria do, sometimes, you know, you have to be able to rank things and have a preference for things. And I didn't really love the big epic ending, multi-part ending to the Vaxis III album proper. It was called the Continuum series. I found that part of it to really lose me. And I'm not against these big epic album multi-part, this, that, part 1 through 5 through 6. Hey, Star Wars, one of my favorite things in the entire world. I love episode 1 through episode 9. I love multi-part franchise kind of things, but sometimes with Coheed and Cambria, I can find it to be a little bit hit, a little bit miss, and I'm really hoping that this new ending to the album, the Key Entity Extraction, will be a really, really cool ending to this record. Again, this new song, Yuko the Trivial, it's got a kind of an 80s rock feel to it. Coheed and Cambria are always really catchy, always really well done when it comes to the songwriting, but sometimes it can be a little bit samey. Sometimes it can just seem to be covering the same sonic ground over and over and over again, but I thought this song was really cool, and I think this kind of gives us an indication of what maybe these 4 new tracks are going to be like. I like when Coheed go epic and they do these 7-minute songs and there's all sorts of proggy things going on and Claudio Sanchez is singing his lungs out and they're doing all sorts of cool stuff. But I do kind of prefer when they bring things back to more of a rock radio kind of sound and make things a little bit more accessible for listeners, and I think that they did that on this track. A great example of that is the song Feathers, which goes back all the way back, I think, to 2007. I can't remember the name of the record. You guys can let me know in the comments. It's really hard to remember Coheed and Cambria record titles, but I really enjoyed Feathers because it's like a 3-minute, 4-minute piece of pop rock. It sounds good, it's catchy, and I think this new song, Yuko the Trivial, kind of falls into that same category. It's really catchy, so definitely check it out if you haven't yet. And if you're a Coheed and Cambria fan, you gotta check out the new deluxe edition of Vaxis III, the father of make believe, also known as the New Entities edition. Like I said, available on CD, available on a couple of different colored LPs, which are available for pre-order right now through the Coheed and Cambria website. And yeah, I guess you can't go wrong with buying an album multiple times, especially if they give us new songs. So we're looking forward to the new deluxe edition of The Father of Make Believe. Let me know if you're excited about this new edition. Are you going to be picking up one of these colored vinyls, quintillion blue, purple optic distortion? Let me know in the comments below. But let's get to our next headliner topic on this edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast. And this again covers a deluxe reissue, this time coming from classic rock favorites Pink Floyd. They are releasing a 50th anniversary deluxe edition of their classic album from 1975, Wish You Were Here. This is the original copy that I have. Obviously, this is a classic album with awesome artwork from Storm Thorkson, who did all of Pink Floyd's albums in the 70s. That is a classic album title. I think actually one of the guys on this album cover actually recently passed away, but that is a classic Pink Floyd album cover, a classic Pink Floyd album. So they're coming out on December the 12th via Sony Music with the Wish You Were Here 50th anniversary edition. Pre-orders are up now on the Pink Floyd website. It's going to be out on multiple formats because that's how it goes with all of these crazy box sets and deluxe editions and reissues that these classic rock bands do. It's coming out on 3 LP, 2 CD, Blu-ray, and also, of course, a mega super deluxe box set that's going to include all sorts of awesome stuff. It's going to contain the original album, of course, with a new Dolby Atmos mix, which is really cool. Dolby Atmos is one of the best sounds that you can get, whether you're in a movie theater or you're listening at home. And this is going to include a bunch of new bonus tracks. Nothing really revolutionary or anything that's going to change the world. It's got demos of Welcome to the Machine called the Machine Song, including Roger Waters Waters, we don't want to get talking about him, but Roger Waters' original demo of Welcome to the Machine, which is, of course, one of my favorite tracks from Wish You Were Here. It's going to include a live bootleg recorded at LA Sports Arena in 1975, as well as various mixes and remixes. As I said, nothing really groundbreaking here, nothing earth-shattering, nothing really we haven't already gotten before. But in case you didn't pick up, the original album, you didn't get the 10th anniversary edition or the 20th anniversary edition or the 30th anniversary edition or the 40th anniversary edition. Well, now you can pick up the 50th anniversary edition. Of course, it's going to cost you just a little bit. You can actually pull up the page here on the official Pink Floyd website shop. Wish You Were Here 50 with a whole lot of different versions of the album. So you have the 3 LP vinyl set, which also comes with a t-shirt that's going to run you $104 USD. You have the 2 CD set and t-shirt, which is probably the one I would get would be the CD version. I have a couple of deluxe editions of the CD version of Dark Side of the Moon. That's going to be from $54.98 USD. The Blu-ray audio and t-shirt, that's going to be $61.98. And then if you take a look at the huge deluxe box set, the Wish You Were Here 50th anniversary deluxe box set, that's going to be $249. So it's going to be about $250 American. The 3 LP set, $70 American. The 2 CD set, just on its own, about $20, which is pretty decent. And the 50th anniversary Blu-ray audio, if you just want that Blu-ray, that's going to be $27 American. And then all sorts of other Wish You Were Here related merchandise. We have the 50th anniversary ashtray, which is obviously essential. The refillable lighter, that's pretty cool. I like the stage crew jacket. That's really cool. And then an assortment of t-shirts, a cigar ashtray. What else? You got a floaty keychain, a button set, a pin, a mug. There's actually 2 pages of stuff. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, a skate deck. Oh, that's really cool. They got a couple of different Wish You Were Here skate decks. If I was a skater, I'd want one of those for sure. Especially, I think, the robot hands skate deck. That looks awesome. Throw blanket, patch, framed print, button down, iPhone case, another skate deck, another t-shirt. Actually, some decent stuff here if you're a Pink Floyd fan and you want to pick up all this stuff. And really, guys, I am not above buying all this unnecessary merch from my favorite band, because as you might have seen in one of my videos recently here on the channel, I went crazy when it came to buying Oasis merchandise at the pop-up shop that they had in Toronto a few weeks back. So yeah, not above buying unnecessary merch. And it looks like they got some cool stuff on the Pink Floyd website, in addition to the actual just, audio version of the album. And really, I love Wish You Were Here. It's one of my favorite Pink Floyd albums. It really comes from that solid period in the mid 70s, this, Dark Side, Wish You Were Here, into Animals, Into the Wall. That period of Pink Floyd, I think, is their best. And I really love all the songs on this album, whether it be Shine On You Crazy Diamond, Welcome to the Machine, Have a Cigar. It's a great record. I love Wish You Were Here. It's one of my favorites. But I'm thinking, with all these bands, and this goes to any band that I listen to, whether it be Oasis, whether it be the Beatles, whether it be any band that I like or I don't like, when will the reissue train end? Because at this point, Pink Floyd, they sold all their interest in their music. They don't get along. Roger Waters doesn't get along with David Gilmour or Nick Mason. They don't do anything anymore. They had that big reunion about 20 years ago when the 4 original members, or except for Sid, got together, except for Sid Barrett. They got together, they did their thing. We had that big reunion. And now with all these bands, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, name your band, it doesn't matter. We are on this reissue train, and I'm thinking the music itself, right, is timeless, right? This stuff will never go away, whether it's streaming, vinyl, CD. My hope is that this classic music never really leaves the public consciousness. But really, how many times can you reissue the same album? I say this as I buy, look out here. I say this as I buy the umpteenth version of every Oasis album. When I went to the pop-up shop, I had to buy the tour version of their albums, which I didn't have before in my collection, because you know what? I'm not above, like I said, not above buying merch, not above buying the same album a million times. But it just feels like, this is the 50th anniversary reissue. So we're going to talk a 60th anniversary in 10 years. Are they going to do that? Is this the end of the line for this particular album and its reissues? I'm thinking about, coming out in a few months, we had the Beatles anthology, which, they're releasing the 4th anthology edition. They're re-releasing it on this format, that format. We get some more outtakes, which is cool, but there's really nothing truly new. When it comes to these bands, whether the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, we really have gotten everything. I know there's always a couple of stragglers, whether if you're the Beatles, Carnival of Light. If you're Pink Floyd, maybe there's a couple of bips and bobs that are still out there in the ether that could get released on a potential 60th anniversary edition of Wish You Were Here. But I'm thinking there really has to be an end to all this. Eventually we will have enough different versions of every album that I don't think they're going to be necessary to do a reissue. Now, I understand from the label's perspective, not even really the artist's perspective. I don't think Pink Floyd really care about a 50th anniversary edition of Wish You Were Here. But from a label's perspective, there's always money in reissues, probably even more so than releasing new music by new artists. I get that. But eventually, it's just, we'll have everything. There's no need to reissue it. I know for a lot of bands, we're in the streaming era, Spotify, Apple Music, lossless, all these different audio formats, that releasing this music with updated remasters, which I think, are these remixed or even remastered? I know we have the new Dolby Atmos mix, but it's a way of onboarding new fans over the years, because this music is timeless. Like I said, there will always be new fans of Pink Floyd, thankfully. Younger music fans are still growing up with the classics. There will always be fans of the Beatles, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Oasis, whoever the band is. There will always be fans, new fans that are coming up and want to enjoy this music and have it be able to sonically in the headphones be able to sit side by side with modern music. I totally get that. But eventually I feel like we're going to reach the end of the reissue train, but I could be wrong. If you're a Pink Floyd fan, I'm sure you're going to be looking at picking up a deluxe edition of the new, not even the new, an old Pink Floyd album, but 50 years later. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about classic rock bands and reissues? Do you feel like it's just something that's going to continue till infinity, forevermore? We're always going to get more reissues? Or do you feel like there's a certain cap or a certain limit to how many different reissues we can get of classic records like Wish You Were Here? Hop into the comments below and let me know your thoughts. But let's get to the last topic on this edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast, and that is Smashing Pumpkins have released a new song just the other day called Chrome Jets. This is an outtake from their most recent album, Agori Mori May, which came out last year. I reviewed it here on the channel. It's very much back to that classic Pumpkin sound with the big riffs and the big guitars. And this new song, Chrome Jets, definitely falls into that category. The song is available now to stream and is going to be available for pre-order as a 12-inch vinyl single through the band's website, Madame Zuzu's, which is becoming the new go-to spot if you want to buy anything Pumpkins related online. There's going to be a B-side on this vinyl edition as well, which is going to be their live version of their U2 cover, Zoo Station. And you know what? I don't really understand that. Smashing Pumpkins, I don't really know why they put weird covers in their set when they have so many great Smashing Pumpkins songs to draw from. I don't really understand why they go on stage and play a cover of U2, of all people, of all bands, and then just not play another great Pumpkin song. You think Billy would want to be playing as many Pumpkin songs as possible, but I guess not. Anyways, with this new song, Chrome Jets, cool title, by the way. It starts off with a really huge bass riff before getting into some awesome guitars, really, really chuggy, heavy Smashing Pumpkins guitars. It's a really, really tight riff. The melody for the verse is okay. It's less wordy than Pumpkin stuff. I actually said this in my video for my top 10 Pumpkins tracks that deserve to be hits, that some of their new stuff with melodies, it takes a little bit to get into them. They're not very instant. They're not very catchy when you first listen to them, but they kind of burrow into your brain a little bit. And this one, the chorus is okay. It's not a great Pumpkins track. It's okay. I think there's songs on Agori Mori May that I enjoy a lot more than this one. But I think the best thing about this new song, Chrome Jets, is that the Sabbath esque guitar riffs. This song is very Tony Iommi, very Black Sabbath, and really the Smashing Pumpkins, when it comes to guitars, they are still the kings of tone. You know, I don't know if they used any big muffs on this thing, but Smashing Pumpkins are definitely still the kings when it comes to great guitar tone. The melodies, the lyrics, everything there, even Billy's singing from time to time can be a little bit hit or miss, but I think in terms of sonics, in terms of guitar and tones, they always sound great. So I think that is one of the pluses of this new song called Chrome Jets, is the guitar sound, not so much the melody, but definitely a great sounding record if you put it in the headphones. But this whole thing just got me thinking about Smashing Pumpkins, because the thing is that as Smashing Pumpkins fans, we've really been wanting a CD or streaming version of the new Machina box set that got released on the Madame Zuzu's website, which has been delayed from what I can tell. I was reading the Smashing Pumpkins Reddit page, and people were talking about how they were supposed to get the record beginning to middle of September. Now they're not going to get the box set until like the end of September. Into October, but obviously I mentioned it in other videos here on the channel, and people have kind of chimed in as well that we're still not getting this Machina complete box set on streaming or CD. That may come further down the line, but right now it's only going to be available in that super expensive vinyl box set, which I definitely can't afford. So I'm hoping for a CD. I'm hoping for streaming. But that is really what we're wanting from the Pumpkins right now. We've been waiting forever for these, for the complete version of Machina. Of course, Machina 2, The Friends and Enemies of Modern Music, was only available on really poor quality MP3s, a vinyl rip back in the year 2000, which we then burned to our own CDs. I've shown it in other videos. I don't have it on me right now, but I had to burn my own copy of Machina 2, The Friends and Enemies of Modern Music. And now we have this complete collection with Machina 2, plus additional songs that we haven't heard. And yet it's only available as a super expensive vinyl box set through the Madame Zuzu's website, which I find to be great for fans if you have that spare cash to spend on that kind of thing. But if you're somebody like me who prefers to have things on CD and doesn't really have $400 to spend on a box set, it's kind of disappointing. And I don't mean to hijack this conversation about Chrome Jets, this new Smashing Pumpkins song, and turn it into me getting on my soapbox about the Pumpkins not releasing Machina 2 or the entire Machina box set in proper format for us fans to enjoy. But that's how I feel, guys. I'm sorry. That is definitely how I feel. So, you know what? This is really cool. The new song, Chrome Jets, is out now. It's a bonus track from Agori Mori May, which I thought was a great Pumpkins album. So really, really enjoyed that. But still hoping for that Machina box set. I hope it comes really soon on another format that we can enjoy. But hop into the comments below. Let me know what you thought of this new Smashing Pumpkins song, Chrome Jets. I think the song itself is kind of weak, but from a guitar instrumental perspective, I think it's pretty damn solid. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the new Pumpkins track, Chrome Jets? But before we wrap up this edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast, I first want to get to my tracks of the week. A couple of rock tracks that I've been listening to this week that I now want to recommend and pass on to you. And the first one for me this week, my track of the week, is the latest song from Biffy Clyro called True Believer. This is the third single from their upcoming album Futique, which comes out I think this week, Friday, September the 19th. It was supposed to come out on the 26th, but they actually moved up the release date, which is awesome. And I love this song, True Believer. I think this is my favorite of the three singles that Biffy have already released from Futique. There was A Little Love, which was great, Hunting Season, which I liked even more, and this new song called True Believer, which I like even more than those other ones. Super excited for this new record from Biffy. If you don't know, they're one of my favorite bands of all time. Like Oasis is my favorite band of all time, but Biffy Clyro is probably up there. They've been one of the most important bands in my life for the better part of over a decade. So I love Biffy Clyro. I'm super excited for this new record. I think it's going to be fantastic. I was thinking, is it going to be good? Biffy Clyro, they've always been consistent. I love all their records. Their last record, The Myth of the Happily Ever After, the one before that, A Celebration of Endings, absolutely fantastic, phenomenal records. So I love this. Biffy Clyro, True Believer. Check it out. My next track of the week comes courtesy of another great UK band that I love, these guys, Dom Broco, and their new song called Hype Man. This is the second new single that they've just released. They haven't announced their new album yet, but they released Cellophane first, which is a great track. And then they released this new one called Hype Man, which I think is even better. And it includes all the great stuff that I love about Dom Broco. It has like kind of a rappy, new metal kind of verse with Rob on vocals there, screaming his lungs out and need a hype man. And then Matt Donnelly, the drummer and co-vocalist of the band, coming in with that super melodic chorus. It's got some awesome Spanish guitar, courtesy of Cy Delaney, the guitar player of the band. And of course, Tom Doyle, the bass player, is fantastic on this as well. Me and Danielle, we're going to see Dom Broco at the Opera House in Toronto. This will be our second time seeing them together on October the 26th. So I'm really looking forward to that. Really hoping that they announce the new album soon. They're releasing another new song, I think, this week. But hopefully they announce the new album along with that. So my second track of the week is courtesy of Dom Broco. It's called Hype Man. And then my third track of the week comes courtesy of one of my favorite California stoner rock bands, Waves, from their new album called Spun. It's a song called In Good Time. And I love Waves. In addition to being a great band, they're a great DIY band as well. Nathan Williams, the lead singer of Waves, he has his own weed brand. He's got all sorts of other stuff going on. He's like an entrepreneur in addition to being a great musician. And when Spun came out, I knew a couple of the songs. I didn't really give it like a solid listen. I didn't review it here on the channel, but a couple days ago, I'm like, I got to sit down. I got to dig into this new Waves record, Spun, and it's absolutely fantastic. I think it's probably the best Waves record in quite a while. And this new song, In Good Time, is also really, really good. Love Waves. Love this song. So these are my tracks of the week, courtesy of Waves, In Good Time, Dom Broco, Hype Man, and Biffy Clyro, True Believer. Those are my tracks of the week. And that is it, guys. That is going to wrap up this edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Make sure to hop into the comments below and chime in on any of the topics that we were talking about on this edition of the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to toss me a thumbs up and a like. I'd really appreciate that. Make sure to smash the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. And we'll see you guys again next week for another edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast. Until then, rock on, everybody.